Suka Blayet. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blah here, and it's time for another Bulgarian workout. And you guys can see I'm wearing Adidas again. That stands for All Day I Dream About Squats. So, channeling my inner Slav. And someone actually asked me, that doesn't sound Slavic, that sounds Hungarian. So actually it's Czech. I'm actually Czech. But Czechs are still Slavs. So, technically. Arguably. So, that being said, squats went great today. Actually, my training today was great. I'm adapting to this volume back-off work. I am adapting to it really well at this point. Yeah, I was a little tender after all of it, and I went and soaked in a hot bath. Took myself a nice power nap at a certain point before I did the overhead pressing. I ended up sleeping about 2 hours. But the squats went good because I came in, I got my 485 deep today. And like I said, guys, I'm going to start ramping up with a little bit of volume work here because I feel like I'm kind of petering out on the linear gains. But all things considered, where are we at? When I started filming, now I had started with 405 just over 3 months ago for my daily minimum. Now granted, you guys know I squatted more than that historically, but I took 2 years off from squatting. I built back to a 405. When I got to 405, I started Bulgarian training again, right? So in about, 7 weeks of being on camera, I've gone from 435 every day to 485 every day while losing 15 pounds. I am 15 pounds lighter. You know, and I'm like, I already know I'm going to be stronger in another 15 pounds of weight loss. We're going to cross that, probably that 500 every day mark before I lose the next 15 pounds. But at this point, though, guys, I mean, the progress is slowing way down, and I need the volume. I need the training volume. And what people don't understand always with the Bulgarian training, the back-off volume is what you do to continue gains. You can gain size on this program. You can follow this program indefinitely and reach your maximum muscular potential. That's where the back-off work comes in. Because, again, if you start doing up to 2 triples a day on big exercises after your heavy single, you're talking about doing 12 triples plus. So let's say you do it 6 days a week, 12 triples plus 6 heavy singles on more than one big exercise. That's a fair amount of volume on stuff like squats. So yeah, I got my 485 here, and then afterwards I thought, man, my quads and everything hurt a bit. I put my massager in my quads, got all the blood flow back to them, and I thought to myself, you know what, you're already hurting. Go ahead and get some gains out of it. And I got deep on that one, nice and deep. I mean, it was a little slow. It was a 2.2 second rep again, which I'm surprised. Like, they keep hitting 2.2 on my timer. So that's okay, because when we start hitting 3 second reps, we need to start paying close attention. But I think the 425 one, I'm like, I'm going to get this for 3. I'm going to nail this for 3. I'm going to go ahead and work on my stretch reflex. I need to keep practicing that, and I'm going to use this volume work to do it. I'm going to nail 3 reps. I got all 3 with no grinders, and I left one in the tank. I could have got a 4th. But we're going to squat again tomorrow, so it's all good. And normally Thursdays suck for me. Usually if I'm going to be my weakest, it's Thursday. Not today. Came in and hit that and this crushed my 425 for a triple. Now let's keep in mind, less than 3 months ago, this was my training max. Now I'm doing triples with it. I can do 3 reps on a back off set. God, the progress is coming along, guys. It's coming. It's coming. I mean, there's some fine tuning to be done here. A long way from where I want to be. You know, I need to be 20 pounds lighter with another 50, 60 pounds on my squat is what I need to do. But it's going to take time. It's going to take time. But, you know, the diet's been easy to follow right now because I'm losing weight slowly and I'm just slamming down protein. Tons of protein just for satiety. It's not like it's not sustainable. That's the other thing too. It's like I've settled in with an eating pattern that I feel like I can follow the rest of the year without feeling like I'm deprived. So the scale's just going to keep coming down while I gain strength, and it doesn't really feel like I'm restricted. You know, that's the main thing. Granted, I'm eating chicken breast like it's going out of style, but yeah, it's all coming along good. The bench, for a little while, guys, I'm not going to do much with the bench. It's just going to sit here. I want to build my foundation at better to bench more. So you guys know I'm doing more volume with rowing and overhead pressing. to keep my shoulder girdle stable. I really need to build all that up. I need to make sure all of that is strong before I start pushing hard on the bench. And then we'll start doing more volume benching, but it's going to be just a little bit. Like I need to do a little more foundation work to play it safe. Then we'll start ramping this bench up, and we'll do that by adding more volume work so that we start building muscle. I start putting more size on my pecs, on my triceps by doing back off triples and stuff, just like we're doing on the squats, on the overhead press, and then that'll help bring my bench up. But yeah, it's coming along. I brought my grip out about 1 inch, by the way, this week. So some people notice that my thumbs aren't really on the smooths. So there's a little bit of knurling there. But yeah, start working on that. But the bench was easy today. Wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. Trying to pause more, make sure I get a good solid pause. You know, you don't want to do any touch and go. I don't want to practice touch and go. I don't want to get in that habit. I don't want to get in that habit. We need to build explosiveness anyways. So that's coming in good. But the rows, I rocked the rows today, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute. So there we go. Nice clean lockout. I know that looked easy. I was like, dude, you're not even trying. I know. Because again, I just need to maintain the motor pattern. I'm going to use these other lifts, put some muscle in the right places, then we're going to start pushing the bench up. The deadlifts are coming along good. Like I said, we're going to go up another 10 next week. And people need to remember, I've had a few people come in and they're like, oh my God, Jason, this person or that person deadlifts more than you. Know they don't. How do you guys know what I deadlift? You've seen what I was deadlifting within the last year. Are you guys serious? I thought I've made it clear that I'm just slowly rebuilding using the new technique and getting used to the hook grip. It's going to be weeks before I pull anything remotely heavy that I even feels like anything more than a warm-up. I'm practicing technique and slowly building up my ability to hook grip off a deficit. This is not heavy. It's not intended to be heavy. It's going to eventually get heavy, and that's when I'm going to have to reconsider something. When I get to where I start pulling 550 every day, it's going to be time to rethink primary exercises. We'll get to that in a minute. I had said at a certain point I might start treating the overhead press as an accessory instead of a main lift. You know, and that creates confusion. God, people thought that like that meant I wouldn't be doing it heavy. That would be like saying because my rows right now are an accessory, I'm not doing heavy rows. No, it just means I don't hit maxes. It means I still an overhead press. I still consider it an essential exercise. It's not an exercise you should cut out of your routine. But the technique is cleaning up on this. It's cleaning up, getting where I want it to be. My thumbs are kind of a little bit bruised this week, though. There's a little bit of bruising going on from broken capillaries under the skin from this hook grip. But it's not really hurting anymore, and so that's good. I think the 10 pounds a week is a good metric. And, you know, in a couple of months, we'll be above 500. In 3 months, we might actually have a decent daily deadlift. Rows, I did the underhand grip again today, and it just felt light, so I did sets of 5. You know, I was doing triples with this on the pronated grip, but with the supine grip, you get more muscle involved because there's more bicep and everything, and all those chin-ups made me pretty strong. So I just did sets of 5. I knocked them out real quick. So I might stick with 5 for just a little bit. I know I don't like to do high reps like that. You know, 5s are high reps, guys. I'm not sure. I might accidentally turn into a bodybuilder or something. You know, Jesus Christ, perish the thought. Doing that bodybuilding, so that's a 5s. 5s, as Ripto calls them. I like 3s better. I think 3s are good for general strength building, although not necessarily for noobs. Noobs get hurt with 3s if they're not careful. Total novices. That's why 5s work good for them. That's why I have a 5x5 for those guys. But yeah, I mean, the rows, they were nice and easy. So it's like, let me just do sets of 5, you know. And my grip was kind of lit up after doing that. So that's good because it's a little harder to grip the bar. So I feel like this is a good, almost grip accessory for me right now to be doing these every day. If I end up doing 3 sets of 5 every day, 6 days a week, that's what, 18 sets of 5s on the rows? Yeah, that's an accessory. You know, that's what I mean by an accessory lift. 18 sets of 5 every week is an accessory exercise. So that means I don't train it, you know. All right, overhead press. But that was kind of the point that I need to get to there. Eventually, when I start deadlifting heavier, I'm going to have 3 primary lifts. These other things I might not be trying to hit maxes, training maxes, daily minimums on them and stuff every day. I might use them for just volume. That means a lot of 3s, maybe 5s. We use them just to build up those areas because the standing press does build a lot of muscles that are useful to my other lifts. And instead of focusing on maximum strength for 1 rep maxes, there comes a threshold where you look at that and go, I could do a bunch of 3s and just build some muscle and strength with it. You know, that works in this system just fine as an accessory lift. But people need to keep that in mind. That doesn't mean you don't do it. Here's the difference between a primary exercise and a secondary exercise. A primary exercise is one that you compete with or you do maxes with. All right, that's a primary exercise. If you're not in a performance-based sport, you don't have primary exercises. Bodybuilders don't have primary exercises. Bicep flex is a primary exercise for a bodybuilder. So people need to understand that difference. Just like the rows, even if I do the rows 6 days a week for the next 2 years straight, that doesn't make them a primary exercise because I'm not training them for max effort. I'm not going to compete. So if I don't go into strength lifting, the press isn't a primary exercise for me, is it? If I'm not hitting singles with it, it would become a secondary if I do a bunch of triples with it. It's using it to build size and strength. Also, pause. Notice I touch my chest and pause on the chest on every rep. Why? So that I get stronger on my bench. You need power out of the bottom. You need to work your upper chest. And if you're not doing that, you're not getting the most out of this exercise. So a little bit of tip there. There's no touch and go. You pause and you touch your chest. If you're not, don't complain if you don't get the most out of this exercise. If you go, man, my upper chest sucks. Well, it's because you don't know how to do the lift. It's real simple. Pause on your chest. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.